Hi everybody, I am Lady Stars and Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa, and this is the weekly healing messages for January 22nd through the 28th. Now, for those of you who typically watch the video, you know I usually give you a rune cast, and if I don't, I usually have been pulled to oracle cards or some other form of cards. But I'm really not feeling it right now. So I will go back and I will pull that up and see what that has to say a little bit later. But I didn't put it in the video for the week because, to be honest, I'm just not feeling it with the energy that I'm being given from spirit and then the astrology in general. So please check back to my Facebook page or any other place that I have social media so you can see what that is after I've pulled it, but it's not in this video. Now, with that being said, there's there's just so much information I'm being given right now from Spirit, and I'm just going to start off with, I know the eclipse just happened, and it should be closure. So there's a lot of things coming to an end with the eclipse. And it's the last eclipse that's going to happen in Leo, I believe, for like 17 years. So it's not just closure, but it's the ending of a cycle. And we have all kinds of cycles that are coming to an end right now. And I've been stating that over and over again. But I am being reminded by Spirit to put out there and remind you all. First off, this is still a preset to that reset. The full on reset is not going to fully take place and get into its full momentum of speed until both Chiron and Uranus leave the signs they are in. Chiron is in Pisces. It is in that universal 12th house, and it has to leave that universal 12th house. Chiron is the wounded healer, the gatekeeper of wholeness. Once it leaves that universal 12th house, and I'm not quite sure, it still has, I think, about a month, maybe a little less left. I have to go back and double check the numbers and the charts and stuff to see how long that is. But Uranus and Chiron are like sitting on 28 and 29 degrees for like a month, it seems like. I mean, they're like just creeping along, going, we're not quite done yet. And that's more or less, I always say, when you're at that last little bit before it enters the cusp and it switches to its new sign, is when you're getting some of the most profound information that sign and that planet, so to speak, can give you before it moves on. Because it's its last chance of going, hey, you didn't get this through your thick head yet, did ya? You know, more or less. And Chiron is the gatekeeper of wholeness. It's the wounded healer coming out of that universal 12th house. That's the end of a cycle, period. So it's going through all of its skeletons still and has so much that it's still pulling up and making you see so that these healings can happen. Spirit's reminding me to make sure that you comprehend this. You are starting a new cycle, but we're presetting the real truth of that cycle. And Uranus isn't going to be moving until March into Taurus, and it's been there for a decade. Okay, so that's 10 years it's been there. So yeah, it'll be at a 10-year cycle coming to an end. But more importantly, it takes 75 to 85 years for it to go all the way around the signs. So it went all the way around and it finished this first cycle again. Okay, that message that it's teaching right now, you're not going to get that message again for another 85 years, 75 to 85 years. Most of you aren't going to be alive. This is that last chance it's got to really bring that cycle to an end as well. So this month really is bringing up the last of the dust that needs to be settled, so to speak. Help the dust to be put to peace, more or less. I've been saying over and over again that the skeletons are coming up out of the closet, and there's a reason for that, because healing needs to be made. If you throw all of your injuries, all of your illness, all of your denial and stuff, the deep-seated roots of the denial and the injuries and the illnesses that we carry within us, and we throw it in the back of the closet, and we pretend that it's, hidden in the back of the closet, the skeletons that are in the closet, they get dusty, and eventually you forget why they're there. But that doesn't mean they're healed. This is about taking those skeletons out and actually putting them to rest. Not putting them back into the back of the closet again. This is about actually releasing and letting go. So you still have a month at least, of this energy coming in that's, still redesigning the direction of how things are going to go. And I was told to start off with that before we go any further. However, what I'm getting from Spirit this week, I just don't have any other better way of, there's several things that are coming in from Spirit, but what Spirit is giving me, especially with the energies that's been coming in with that eclipse and the closures that you should be finding, and how you should be reevaluating life and for the new direction of how you're trying to steer it. They keep giving me the music that I would hear if I was at a drag show. Like celebrate, you basically, I'm getting the energy of a drag show, more or less. And I don't know how else to put it other than no bitch is going to out flamboyant a drag queen. So why are you allowing yourself to not be as flamboyant and as full of energy as you are? Nobody else can do you better than you. I'm not telling you to go out and be extra flamboyant and be like, it's all about me. No. But what I'm saying is nobody can be the better you than you. I'm being told that you are supposed to be celebrating and enjoying life. And I'm getting dancing. You are supposed to be dancing and, bringing all of that into life. And if you're not, why? What is keeping you from doing that? This is what I'm getting from that whole drag show energy. Only you can be as big and powerful and loud as you are capable of being. And nobody can do that for you. It's, like I said, when a drag show happens, nobody's going to out-bitch a drag queen. Nobody's going to do it. It's just, that's what they're there to do, and we love them for that. So I'm trying to give you the idea of what I'm being steered towards. With that being said, though, I am being reminded of the Gimel in Hebrew, and I did post about that earlier this week, and that speaks to us as we redirect this time of our life, as you were given a choice for good or evil, negative, positive, every single day and every single moment of your life. Which choice are you making? Which are you choosing? Are you choosing to see your life as a reward or as a punishment? Because that has a lot to do with the way the direction is manifesting for your life. Basically, you were given a choice. It's up to you to do that. That's called free will. Okay, with that being said, I am also given the number 7 and Zayin from Hebrew, which speaks to us of the sword. It's a weapon. It is the scepter. But it speaks to us of cutting away, separating or dividing, cutting off. This is taking that negative energy away, that negativity away from our life, cutting it out, cutting off what's not good for us anymore, because we cut it away so that we can feed and reseed and nourish our life properly. Nourish our life properly. This is returning of the light. It is elevating ourselves to new awarenesses. So there are going to be some people who are just now coming into their awakenings. Okay, and there's some people along their awakening are awakening even more deeper. Like I said, we are coming into a whole new level of authenticity. We're not what we assumed authenticity was, or our authentic self was. We're starting to find we were just seeing a very small picture. It's about to so much get bigger and just rise, and be bright like the light. And this is why they're referring me back to that whole drag show energy. Only you can rise to be the light in you, to be as flamboyant and to let that out. So why aren't you? Why aren't you celebrating? This is the direction that we're being told to take ourselves. Now, I am also being told you're going to see a lot of 2C is going to be brought up in front of you. The reveal is going to be brought up in front of you. There's going to be the things that you aren't seeing are being brought to light still. So you're going to be acknowledging these along with that, evolving into that new awareness as we move forward. 7 is definitely a number this week, if I didn't say that already. And I'm being given the frog energy. Now, for many people, frog is cleansing. And it is cleansing. It's talking to us of ridding ourselves of that negative energy. But for me, also, the frog speaks to us of being in two different worlds at two different times, or at the same time. Because the frog can go from the water to the land, from the water to the land. So it is going in between the worlds, so to speak, which is speaking to us of our intuitiveness. It's speaking to us of our psychic awareness, our psychic abilities, and speaking within that. But it also speaks to us of the leaping of the frog and being able to leap when the opportunity is right and start to leap in the proper directions. So, with all of that being said, let me jump into astrology for this week. Now, again, this is the 22nd through the 28th. Mercury is going to be moving into Aquarius with the sun on the 24th. That is Thursday. But let me just tell you, it's like Mercury don't want to be there. It's only going to be there for like 2 weeks. It's flying through the sign. It's like, zoom, and I'm gone. Okay, so communication is going to be in the sign of Aquarius with the sun. Very illuminated, very powerful, very rebellious energy, communicating outwardly as well as with our goals, our dreams, our teams, our wishes. So we're going to be very much just jumping on top of it. But it's like the energy is just, and it's gone. And I'm warning you, this is what that frog had to do with partially. You know, getting on those opportunities, taking that leap when the time is right and not missing it. Okay? Because Mercury is going to be and gone. It's not going to be in this sign for very long. I'm giving you that heads up. Now, is like I said, with the sun and in Aquarius, it's just a rebel within, ready to take on and try on new things, and let's just go, 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 because I'm ready. Okay, but I wanted to give you that forewarning. The moon this week, though, is going to be traveling through Virgo, then Libra, and then Virgo, Libra, and then Scorpio, because we're leaving Leo right now because of the eclipse that just happened. So let me help you understand what I'm noticing. First off, the moon is fighting with Chiron and Neptune. It's like one day it's fighting with Neptune, the next day it's fighting with Chiron as it moves out of, the moon is going to be in Virgo. So it's going to be incredibly anal retentive is what I'm getting. It's going to be anal retentive. It's going to be picking shit apart. Okay, your emotions, your emotional depth is going to be really picking shit apart and evaluating what's good and what isn't, what's the truth and what isn't, what's right and what isn't. Intuitively, you need to be listening to this because it is fighting Chiron and it is fighting Neptune, which is bringing me back to illusion. The moon is going to be, first off, fighting with, and this is on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday, it's going to be first fighting with Neptune, and then it'll be fighting with Chiron. So I feel like it's going to give you this illusion of something that's not real. And then the wounded healer is going to come in and be like, what did I tell you? You should know this by now. You know, that's the way I feel like the energy is going to be feeling like while you're anally retentively kind of picking it apart. I call Virgo the lie detector. I'm gonna reassess everything and figure out what is going on, more or less. And I'm gonna organize it all. However, when it's emotions, because that's where the moon is, can't always organize them quite so. You have to feel them. And even though Chiron and Neptune are not necessarily getting along with the moon on Wednesday and Thursday, there's an important message there. There's something that you need to be overcoming. There's something that you need to learn in order to move on and overcome. So even though it may feel like a little bit of an illusion or a nostalgia that might be fooling you, you know better. Okay, and you're going to learn from that mistake. At least I hope you do. And I'm letting you know that emotions are going to be in there because the moon is going to be in Virgo. Then it's going to be moving into Libra, which is going to be very powerful. Because Libra has Pallas in it, the moon in it, and it has Haumea. It's going to be sitting on top of it, which is your collective consciousness. Athena, the warrior goddess, which is strategic thinking, and then your emotional depths. So it's all coming into that universal seventh house of relationships. And anything you care about, you have a relationship. You care about your friends, your family, your loved ones, your children, but you also care. I mean, like if you're in school, you care about, I mean, if you're paying to go to college, you care of how well you're doing in college. If you care about your job because you want to get paid, you care about your, your car because you want to make sure that it will get you where you need to go in a safe way. Anything you have a relationship where you care about. So on the 25th and the 26th, the moon is going to amplify these relationships, okay? And questions that are going on within these relationships. Remember, it's speaking also directly with Haumea, your collective consciousness, as well as strategic thinking, because it's Athena, the warrior goddess. Then the moon is jumping into Scorpio on the 27th and the 28th, which is Sunday and Monday, as we come to the ending of the week. So the moon is going to when the moon is in Scorpio, you either are really sensitive for all the good, wonderful, glorious reasons. You're like, ooh, I really want to enjoy these things, and I enjoy this time, and I'm enjoying this pampering and this intimacy. Or or the moon in Scorpio is going to be evaluating how you feel about where you've been denied, the denials, the betrayals, where you've been hurt. So it can really go either way depending on what is going on in your life directly as to where that amplified sensitivity will be. Will it be amplified into a positive way or into more of evaluating things that have hurt you because you need to heal from them, basically, as you enter Sunday and Monday? Now, all week long, you do have some positive chain reactions, and I call them chain reactions because they don't really come into aspects that make like a grand cross or a T-square or anything like that, but Spirit is like, nah, you need to pay attention. So that's why I just call them chain reactions when I get them. Now, all week, you do have, and I'm being told this has to do with growth, being healthy with yourself and with nature, as well as like family matters. Yeah? Okay. But is what I'm being told, because that's what I get when they give me green energy. It also has to do with psychic energies being birthed, or growing, in a sense. You have the North Node in Cancer, which is trining Chiron, which is in Pisces. Okay, the North Node is everything you need to know in order to move forward. In Cancer, universally, this is home. I don't know how many times I can tell you this is not your home, your office, your business, the home. It is your home, but the biggest home is this one right here that can't be taken away, where you live. You can't leave you, no matter how hard you try, and the roots of who and what you are, which is what speaks to us of home. So it's the karmic levels of who and what we are, as well as the roots of what created us to be who and what we are. Okay, so like I said, this is all about that time of understanding we can't be pointing fingers at shit that created us to be the way that we are, because we choose to stay this way. We haven't chosen to change. So just because somebody hurt you doesn't mean you have a right to act the same way and do the same thing to others. It means you hadn't learned, but only you can choose your own decisions and how you will behave. So there's no pointing fingers at other people to say, I'm this way because of this anymore. The North Node in Cancer is speaking to us of the depths of our karmic self. It's speaking to the roots of our self and the home of who and what we are. Trining Chiron is bringing a positive outlook at Chiron in that 12th house, looking at those skeletons, trying to reevaluate them, trying to find a way to find healing within it, because it's the gatekeeper of wholeness. It's helping you get to the root of the matter so that you can actually put it to rest. This is a positive energy. And then it is sextiling Mercury. And it will be sextiling the sun as well. So it's sextiling Mercury while it's in Capricorn, but it's also going to be shifting into Aquarius. Remember that. And this is your communication. In Capricorn, it's still going to be talking to you about the outer community as well as in Aquarius. But it may be also going from like job-related situations and politics. And then just into your outer community, your friends, your goals, your dreams, your hopes, your teams, so to speak, like that. And it's also going to be speaking to the illumination of the sun. So the sun is going to be illuminating how Mercury can communicate the healing that needs to happen. This is a very positive thing. Now, you also have another chain reaction this week where Mars, which is in Aries. Now, here's the thing. They're not close enough, but I don't care what nobody says. Mars is in Aries. It's the universal first house. Uranus is in Aries still. It's near the end of it. It's like at the 28, 29 degrees, trying to get out, but it's still got a month here. Okay? It ain't going anywhere for like a month and a half. So it's still working through its shadow of independence, individuality, uniqueness, and freedom. And where you're not getting that, okay? It's sitting on top of Eris, which is strife, trouble, and toil. And where can I point those fingers because I'm not getting what I want? Okay? So your independence, your individuality, and uniqueness has got to learn to mature. It's not about pointing fingers about why I didn't get what I want and this is why I can't. It's about, what do I have to do? Point blank. No more talking about all the other shit and pointing fingers. What do I have to do so that I can get what I want? So I can be the chick that's the drag show queen, more or less, for a better way of putting it. How can I become that person? It is going to be speaking with Mars, okay? And I went through all of that because Mars is in that chain reaction, which is in a very positive energy. It is trining Jupiter. It is trining Jupiter and it is trining Venus. I'm laughing at what I wrote. I wrote it wrong. It is trining Jupiter and Venus, which are in Sagittarius, the ninth house. Sagittarius and Jupiter, they belong together. I mean, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. It is home. Okay, it is in its power sign. Venus is sitting right here with it, amplifying the sensitivity of it and speaking to your higher self. And your higher self is trying to tell you what you're not getting right so that you can make yourself get it right. So you can step into that authentic self of you truly are, even above and beyond what you think you're capable of being. Okay, and it's speaking with Mars, which is the warrior, which is your passion, which is your action, which is your aggression, which is your fire, which is your, sexual energy. The sexual energy that makes you feel good about who and what you are, even. Okay? It is speaking from that ninth house of who you are spiritually, soulfully, as well as who you are on the core. So they're going back and forth, showing how to bring the core forward from the spiritual side. The point is you just got to make sure that Uranus and Eris energy isn't clouding it with some shadow and giving false identity to it. That is the whole point here. As long as you're not filling yourself with illusion of false identity of who and what you are, because you're still pointing fingers and not giving yourself the right to stand up and move forward, then you'll be fine. But if you are in that denial, then you're going to find this is going to be more difficult than you would believe. Like I said, I kept saying during last week that there was the eclipse was happening, and right after the eclipse it was kind of like quicksand. And if you didn't make it out and elevate up above, the quicksand was going to kind of like pull you down and make it harder on you. So the things that you have been in denial about now are going to hit you harder than they have prior, because you didn't elevate. So this is why I'm trying to make you see this and and know it and acknowledge it, because I'm trying to help you not have to make it so hard on yourself. Okay, now, those energies, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, are also sextiling Lilith. Sextiling Lilith, and might as well be also Vesta, because it's close enough in energy still. Lilith is the feminine energy of all feminine energies. Nobody's going to make me do a thing I don't want to do, and I am quite capable of being exactly who I am. That is exactly what you're going to get with Lilith. I am quite capable of being me. Don't think for 1 second I'm not. And saying exactly what I need to think. Because she is very much full into ego in the sense of I can come right out and I have no problem stating it. This can be a very powerful ally in helping you bring this energy forward. Again, like I said, as long as you're not in the illusion of that energy with Eris and with Uranus of what has been keeping you from stepping into your independence, individuality, uniqueness, and freedom. Because you want to point fingers at things that hurt you in the past. As long as you're not going down that road, this is going to be a very positive energy. But if you are going down that road, here is the crossfire energy that's going to show you you're going down that road. Mars is squaring Saturn. Mars is your ruler. As far as, not your ruler, your warrior. It is your inner SWAT team. So it is your independence, your individuality, your unique. That is the wrong sign. And Mars is not Uranus. Mars is your passion, your action, your aggression, your fire. Your inner SWAT team, your inner warrior. And it's squaring Saturn. The rules, walls, and boundaries. Like I said, if you're still looking at things that have created you to maybe be, view things from a different point of view than you should, or I'm this way because of how so-and-so treated me, it's really going to start hitting below the belt here when it hits those rules, walls, and boundaries. Because your inner warrior don't want to hear it. But you need to hear it. Rules, walls, and boundaries are going to be coming out from your outer community and coming inwardly towards who the core is of what you are and questioning that core. And are you going to stand up in the right positive way and truly step into who you are? Or are you stepping into that denial and still pointing those fingers? This is where the key comes in. Because like I said, that's a crossfire energy. It is not a positive energy. It is a harsh energy to handle because it's going on inside of this other energy I was speaking about. You have Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Lilith in a super powerful energy. But the crossfire is Mars speaking to Saturn. So, like I said, this is reevaluating rules, walls, and boundaries. Because what was is not working anymore, and it needs to have new creations laid out for those rules, walls, and boundaries. And if you're sticking to what was, you're going to find it's going to hit below the belt. Now, you also have a second crossfire energy of Jupiter and Venus, and that universal 9th house of Sagittarius, your higher self, and the sensitivities of how can I be my higher self and bring that into abundance and higher knowledge and let that out of yourself is fighting Neptune. So it's going to be asking you, do you believe in yourself or not? Point blank. Do you? Because that's the illusion Neptune's giving you. It's either going to give you the idea of who you was from the past and who you are not anymore. Or maybe who you never gave yourself the ability to be. Because time can do some weird things as we get older. It can, and I hate to say it, but, time can, as time moves on, it can beat you down and you're just not as vibrant and as in that childlike energy to just create and move on with the power and the passion that you used to when you were younger. For some of us. Some of us never quite stepped into that at all. And this is speaking of overcoming that. Overcoming where you don't believe that you can do that. Because Neptune is weird that way. It's where magic is created, but it's also where ill magic is created. And if you're using it in an ill manner, it's going to work against you and keep you from stepping into who you're supposed to be. So, this is about belief in self and seeing the truth within that belief in self. Now, you do have a T-square all week, which is challenging energy. Uranus with Eris is in Aries. It is also speaking with Capricorn's Mercury, as well as when it moves into Aquarius with the Sun and the North Node. So, your communication and your illumination, like I said, is already fighting with Uranus and Eris. Your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, and your inventive self is still having an issue with strife, trouble, and toil, and why I'm not the way I want to be. And it's not exactly getting along with that communication of Mercury, especially as it comes into that illumination backed up by Aquarius of the Sun as it moves out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. It's still going to be in that outer community, but it's speaking to you of overcoming something from in here. Overcoming something that's been rooted in to who and what you think you are, that you're not. You're better than, you're above, and you can heal. But do you believe that? And will you? That's the question. Now, I will give you one last piece of information for this week. The 26th, which is Saturday. The 26th is a very challenging day. It is not exactly a grand cross, and it is not exactly a grand square. Not exactly. The aspects are slightly off. They don't fit properly. But I just see all kinds of stuff blowing up on this day when I look at it. So, Saturday, the 26th, you have your typical T-square that I was just talking about. Uranus and Eris, speaking with Mercury and the Sun, speaking with the Cancer, with the North Node and the Cancer. So, this is about your roots, overcoming who and what you believe you to be, what you've rooted yourself into thinking is acceptable, and allowing yourself to stay in that same spot instead of moving forward. Allowing yourself to point fingers and believe that you can't move forward because of what was done to you. And this is about speaking to that communication of how we properly see past this, heal ourselves, illuminate ourselves, and move forward. Okay? That is there. But then you have Mars in this energy speaking with Pluto and also speaking with Pallas and the Moon. And there's no point in even going into all of that. The reason why I said that is just hear me out. Uranus, independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom. Eris, trouble, toil, strife. Mercury, communication. Sun, illumination. North Node, the roots of who and what you are, and the home of who and what you are. Then Mars, your warrior, your inner SWAT team, your passion, your action, your aggression, your fire, your sexual energies, which is not always about sex. Sometimes it's about the feeling, the power of who and what you are. Pluto, death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, and regeneration, and Pallas and the Moon. All of these are having a big, disagreement on the 26th. It's just like great balls of fire flying across the sky with all gods fighting one another. It's like the Titans fighting from within you, more or less. Okay? Pallas is the Athena, the warrior goddess. She's all about strategic thinking, speaking to the moon and the depths of what's underneath it all. Okay, Pluto is all about the death, decay, and destruction, what has to frickin' happen in order to move forward.